All right, so we are on Unit 4 for Geography. This is where we start talking about North America. This includes countries like Mexico, as well as areas of the Caribbean islands and Central America, like the United States and Canada. Okay, so first of all, we want to look at the United States. And while we know a lot of info ourselves, there's a couple of things that we need to talk about. Obviously, our capital is Washington, D.C., and the current president is Donald Trump. We'll see who gets what here in the new election, right? But our primary language, though others speak different, is English. The current GDP, or gross domestic product, of the United States is $19.39 trillion. And that talks about a couple different things when it comes to what we sell or import or export. Our type of government is a democracy. Our type of economy is a market economy. Both are things that we talked about in the previous unit. Physical characteristics that are common throughout the United States include mountains, like the Rocky Mountains and Appalachian Mountains, rivers, such as the Mississippi River and Missouri River, as well as Ohio River. We have the Great Lakes. They're very large up north. Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, and Lake Huron. Because the United States is so large and they have different areas for different states like Hawaii and Alaska, we have a huge amount of different climates. While it may be very cold in the mountains as well as in places like Alaska, you've got more tropical atmosphere in places like Hawaii and Florida. And then when you look to the western area of the United States, you've got large desert areas that's very warm a lot of the time of the year. Because we have such a change in resources as well as change in climate, you can see that we have an abundant amount of natural resources that we use throughout the United States or we sell. When we look to different historical experiences that we talk about that happen primarily in the United States, common ones are American Revolution as well as the American Civil War. In here, we could also include things like civil rights. We could talk about different times when we have pre-Civil War or American Revolution, things like the French and Indian War. A couple different things that are rather famous, not only for the United States, but we can talk more early and say things of colonization, or we can skip way forward and say things like 9/11. Okay, so here's a quick geographical map of what we're looking at for the United States. Notice that what's in brown is a lot of mountain coverage. So you've got the smaller mountain range in the Appalachians and the East Coast, as well as the Rocky Mountains being very big, going from Canada all the way to Mexico. Different rivers are outlined along the bodies of water that are blue. And then we have a couple other things like the Great Plains and the Ozark Plateau. Okay, now let's go north. Look at Canada. The capital of Canada is Ottawa. And currently, right now, their Prime Minister is Justin Trudeau. Like the United States, many of them speak English, but actually their main language is French. Their current GDP is quite a bit smaller than the United States, being at $1.65 trillion. They also have a democracy and a market economy like the United States, but keep in mind that the area of Canada is quite large. While it kind of parallels to the United States, there is a lot more land further north and quite in cold areas when we talk about climate. Those physical characteristics mean that there's a lot of things throughout Canada, just like the United States. The Rocky Mountains go all the way into Canada. Canada has two other types of mountain ranges that are just within their country, called the Mackenzie Range and the Coast Mountains. While they share the Great Lakes with us, they have a couple other lakes and rivers that are quite large and useful throughout the Canadian country, such as Lake Winnipeg, Great Bear Lake, Gulf of St. Lawrence, Saskatchewan River, and Yukon River. With all of the resources that Canada has, because it's not just one large body of land, they have a very large amount of water, as well as like archipelago or islands. Many of them have a very fertile farmland. When it's close to water, you've got those resources that flow. It can be very humid because of how close they are to the water, and the abundant natural resources is something very similar to the United States. This is also a developed country, which means their industrial and economic advantages are similar to the US because they are developed as a country in their industries as well as the resources that they may sell or buy. Okay, so we're looking up north here on this geographical map. You can see a couple of things that I was talking about. Canada has the Rocky Mountains over on the west coast, but right beside the Rocky Mountains are the two other mountain ranges that they have. They have a smaller mountain range right on the west coast called the Coast Mountains, and then the McKenzie Range actually kind of horseshoes the end of the Rocky Mountains. These can also extend up into Alaska just slightly, but not near as much as they are throughout Canada. The rest of the country is actually quite much like a plains area or maybe near Mississippi River type thing. They've got a lot of water, including like the large Hudson Bay, and you see all of the rivers throughout it as well. Many other lakes that are a lot smaller are all along between the middle of Canada, from the Hudson Bay to the Rocky Mountains. You've got a lot of bodies of water. And then it's stretching all the way up to Greenland. There is a large amount of islands. Lots of water travel, basically. Now, going back down south. In Mexico, their capital is Mexico City, and currently their president is President Obrador. And the primary language is obviously going to be Spanish, while many of them do still speak English or other languages, because Spanish can be taken from just its main one that we sometimes use to other different types. So it's kind of like how if you move from different parts of the United States, others have accents, and some of them have that primary Spanish that we learn. Their current GDP is actually a little bit smaller than Canada's at $1.15 trillion. Their type of government is also democracy, just like the other two, and a market economy as well. That makes them similar. Mexico is quite large, though it is smaller than the US and Canada. They have mountains, they have valleys, peninsulas, such as the Sierra Madre Oriental, the Mexican Plateau, Valley of Mexico, Yucatan Peninsula, and Baja California. The area that Mexico is in does provide them with quite a few lakes and rivers, such as the Rio Grande, and because it's curved around the Caribbean and the Gulf Coast, you can see a lot of that water coming in as well. Some of the main things that they may either mine, find, or sell is oil, gold, and silver. In the beginning, when everybody was colonizing, that's the main reason that they have Spanish as a primary language, because it was a colony of Spain. We're talking about like Cortez coming over and exploring, or Columbus. Everybody like that comes straight to Mexico or the Caribbean islands first. They don't see the United States. So looking here at the map, you can kind of see what I was talking about. Mexico does curve from the bottom of Texas all the way up into the Gulf of Mexico, as well as on the other side of the Caribbean. The Sierra Madre Oriental mountain range is on the inner piece of Mexico, and the Baja California one is right there on the extra peninsula they have. Throughout the rest of Mexico, you can see that it is quite highly elevated, though when you get closer to the coastline, obviously it's going to be quite a bit lower. With it being surrounded on both sides by water, you can see that a lot of the time their resources come from that, whether it's fishing or the golds and other materials that they may find. Okay, moving further south into Central America. This has quite a few different countries, but many of them have a very large amount of similarities. Their primary language is Spanish, and their type of country, many of them in Central America, are developing countries. So they're not on the same level as Mexico, Canada, and the United States. They're a type of country that is moving forward with their development, but they're not completely industrialized, or they haven't found everything they can use to buy, sell, or trade. Their population as a whole, as Central America, not per country, is a little over 30 million people. Their primary religion, especially throughout Central America, is Christianity, mostly emphasizing Catholic or Protestant religion, This goes back to when they were colonized from the Spanish and partly from English explorers. Their types of government are democracy, though in the past it has changed back and forth from like a communist thing as well. Many of the countries in Central America had that issue back in like the 80s and 90s. Types of economies that are open to Central America are the market economy and traditional economy. If you remember, the traditional economy is one that is more associated with these small countries that aren't developed as highly as larger ones. So a lot of what they sell or make is centralized around what is popular and useful to them in those small countries. When we look at physical characteristics, ones like mountains, plains, and highlands that extend down from Mexico and up from South America are seen throughout Central America. Mountains that separate the Caribbean from the Pacific Plains and highlands are a main piece here. The Central American area itself is actually a large land bridge or an isthmus. And because they are surrounded by water and it is a small area between Mexico and Southern America, they've got a lot of water on each side. They've got a large amount of water. Basically, on one side, they've got the Gulf of Mexico or Caribbeans because they're further south. And on the other side, it's the Pacific Ocean. A very small amount of land, like in Panama, that is very small and even has a Panama Canal dug through the middle of it. The climate, because of this water coverage and because of the small amount of land, is very tropical. It's very warm. It's very humid. Or savanna, which means it's slightly warmer, but you've still got a lot of muggy, hot, humid air. So here is what you're looking at for all of the different countries that are in Central America. You've got things that go from Belize and Guatemala going further south into Panama. Right after Panama, further south is where South America starts. But then you look over to the Caribbean Sea and Gulf of Mexico. You've got things like the Bahamas, Cuba, Haiti, Jamaica, Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico. All of these are part of Central America. All right, so when we look at those countries, you can see there's quite a few. And when we talk about each one, we have to know their capital. Later, this is going to be one of a quiz. So make sure that you're paying attention and have it wrote into your notes. Guatemala has Guatemala City. Belize is Belmopan. El Salvador is San Salvador. Honduras is Tegucigalpa. Nicaragua is Managua. And Costa Rica is San Jose. Cuba is Havana. Haiti, Port-au-Prince as their capital. Dominican Republic is Santo Domingo. Jamaica, their capital is called Kingston. Panama is Panama City. And the Bahamas is Nassau. Overall, when we look at the word gross domestic product or GDP, it means that the value of all goods and services that are produced within a country are measured with a number. So like we said before, the GDP per country or area, the United States has a $19.3 trillion GDP. Canada follows with $1.65 trillion, and Mexico is $1.15 trillion. How does a domestic product, gross domestic product, be achieved or predicted? The GDP enables policymakers and central banks to judge whether the economy is contracting or expanding, so whether they're going into debt or making a profit. This needs to be boosted or restrained if it's getting too far out of hand, and if a threat such as a recession or inflation looms on the horizon, GDP is how it's predicted. Ways that North America countries are linked together. Things like NAFTA, the Panama Canal, hurricanes or other types of similar weather, Monroe Doctrine, and tourism, as well as European history all come into play. NAFTA means the North American Free Trade Agreement, and while lately we have actually receded from this, it was very popular up until just recent years. The main thing you have to look at when it comes to these different similarities excuse me, is the Panama Canal as well as other pieces that are not only just available but politically made. Make sure you write it in, and if it's pink, it needs to be either highlighted or in the blanks.